Tomorrow is going to be the start of a very interesting journey. We'll be taking the Bolt on its first long-range trip. Now, as some background, we purchased our 2020 Bolt in August of 2020, deep in the heart of the pandemic. And as a result, we haven't been doing a lot of long-range traveling. The Bolt's gotten a lot of use. We've taken it to the coast. I've used it for some jobs I did in the Central Valley, and it's gotten a lot of daily use around town. But those are all within one tank range of the Bolt. We've never had to stop and use public charging. Tomorrow is going to be very different. We'll be taking the Bolt from Oakland, California to Phoenix, Arizona via Los Angeles. Overall, the round trip will be approaching 1,600 miles. So when we get back, we'll have a pretty good idea of how the Bolt performs on a long-range trip. If you go online and read opinions, you'll see everything from, oh, the Bolt is a great long-range car, to never take the Bolt outside of its one-tank range. So we'll find out tomorrow just how it's going to perform. We look forward to you joining us. Okay, today's the big day, March 21st, 2021. We're all vaccinated and we're ready to go on our first extended trip with the Bolt. Again, we'll be going from Oakland, California to Phoenix, Arizona via Los Angeles. Today's the first leg of the route, and we'll be heading from Oakland, California to Pismo Beach, California. Should be a fun trip. We're due for one charge along the way. Okay, the Bolt's being turned on. My beautiful wife, Maureen, will be driving the first leg of the trip.
Away we go.
We're all charged up, max 272, minimum 255. Today we're going to be using the My Chevrolet app. We also have other apps on, like the A Better Route Planner and PlugShare. However, the reason we're relying on My Chevrolet is that it has direct connection to the Bolt, so it's going to monitor what the charge is, and according to Chevrolet, it monitors weather condition, your driving habits. So it should give us a better reading for when we need to charge. It has mapped out the route for us. Again, we're headed to Pismo Beach today. My Chevrolet app is telling us we'll be driving 2 hours and 44 minutes, 178 miles to the Camp Roberts rest area where they have a charger. There we're scheduled to charge for 32 minutes before we head down to Pismo Beach. So, we're off. Let's see how it goes. Now, the My Chevrolet app does give you some good information. Again, we're scheduled to charge at the Camp Roberts rest stop. And a couple minutes ago, it just told us the port was being used. But now, again, we know that the port is available. So it gives you constant updates in real time, which will be helpful, I guess. Well, what we've learned here is that it's good to have a backup plan. The My Chevrolet app, while it's still showing information, doesn't appear to be synced correctly with our trip. So anyway, we're going to be at the first charging station in just a few minutes. Hopefully it's correct that the charging port is available. We'll see shortly. Okay, we're at Camp Roberts. We're plugged into the ChargePoint charger here, which was available. So everything's looking good. We're scheduled to charge here for, I believe, 20 minutes. And we'll see how it goes. Well, we have quite a beautiful place to stop here at the Camp Roberts rest area. Nice place to spend the next 20 minutes. Good news is it was free charging here. So that's a great deal. Pismo Beach is about, I think I just looked, it was like 57 miles. We can go between 119 and 140, so we're all set to get to our next destination. Here we are at Avila Beach. Nice stopover point for lunch. Enjoy the ocean. Okay, Momo, you're on your first long distance electric vehicle trip. What's your impression so far?
It's great. Just like any other trip, except for you have a mandatory stop for a half hour.
Okay, we've arrived at the Quinta Inn in Pismo Beach, where we'll be spending the night. So we've gone about 235 miles today. We stopped once to charge for about 20 minutes, and we currently have between 60 and 70 miles still in the tank. So we'll be charging here in Pismo. More on that to come. So we're at the Quinta Inn in Pismo Beach. But here's one of the secrets of traveling with an electric vehicle. When you stop at a hotel or motel, find out if they have charging for electrical vehicles. In this case, we found the Quinta does have one charger. And by calling ahead and asking them about that, they reserved it for us. So we will be charging tonight on the Quinta's dime. And hopefully we'll get a full charge tonight. If we do, we'll have enough to take us to Santa Monica tomorrow. So, trip's going really well. We've got a beautiful afternoon and evening here in Pismo Beach. Oceanfront room. Really couldn't be any better. Okay, after recharging at the Quinta Inn for free overnight, we're up to 100% capacity on the battery again. So today's journey will be to Santa Monica. Okay. We have arrived in Santa Monica, staying at the Bayside Hotel this evening. Not a bad place to stop, I would say, huh? We arrived here with about 100 miles still in the tank. However, as I said, our technology has failed us. My Chevrolet app is doing nothing. I'm going to have to take a look at my other payment apps, and we'll find a place. I see there's charging at the Santa Monica Pier. I don't believe we'll have charging at the hotel tonight, so no free charging tonight. Second day, and we've traveled about over 400 miles, and we've paid zero for electricity at this point, so we can't complain about that. Okay, day 3, here we are in Santa Monica. Gonna be a busy day today for us. We had a lot of things going on here while we're in Santa Monica. So we wanted to get the car charged right away in the morning. This time I went on the EVgo app, which I have a membership with, and found this one about a mile away. Apartment complex where they have a leasing office. Right in the leasing office parking area, we have an EVgo charger. So very easy to connect to and charge. It says they have a 30-minute limit. We started today probably 30% charge. I noticed that in the half hour it should get up to about a 60% charge. So we should be pretty well set here. So actually, this is the first high-speed charge we've done on our 2020 Bolt. Again, we purchased the Bolt in August of 2020. Now it's March of 2021. And this is the first time we've had to stop and use a rapid charger. Now, we did use a rapid charger on the way down to Pismo Beach, but that one was running only at, like I said, I think half power or something because of some issue that was going on. So this one is charging very quickly. We're up to 64% right now. We've been here the allotted half an hour, but there's no one else here, so I'm going to leave it plugged in for a few more minutes. Okay, we've charged now between 35 and 40 minutes. Completed that. We went from a range of, I believe it was 86 miles now to 198 miles with this morning's charge. So we're very good shape there. Now we can get on with the rest of our day here. So there's the Santa Monica Pier where we were going to charge, but we couldn't find access due to the COVID restrictions. And certainly Santa Monica is a beautiful place. Okay, day 3 continued. We've seen a lot of Santa Monica today. Now this evening we'll be spending with family here in Huntington Beach. And tomorrow we want to get an early start, so we're giving it a final charge here today before we head over to visit family. We're charging at Huntington Harbor Mall. And let's see, we've been charging about 30 minutes now. We're up to 80%. So our charging level will be leveling off, but we're going to leave it in a little longer. So we are all set for tomorrow's trip to Joshua Tree. And while we're here, we got to do our Trader Joe's shopping while we're charging. So all working out pretty good. Okay, here we are on day 4. We're in Huntington Beach, California. And today we'll be heading out to Joshua Tree, California. Since we recharged yesterday upon arrival in Huntington Beach, we've got a full tank, so we got plenty to get us out to Joshua Tree. So it should be a fun trip. Yes, I'd say Joshua Tree is quite an amazing place. The rock formations are quite incredible here. Michael. Day 4. Here we are in Blythe, California. Near the California-Arizona border. Heading to Phoenix today in a Oakland A's game this afternoon. So we left La Quinta this morning with a pretty much full tank. We charged last night at a station in La Quinta. It got us here to Blythe with about 38% in the tank. And we'll be topping off here and then heading off to Phoenix. There's a restaurant here nearby, so we're gonna leave the car charged while we go get something to eat. You know, it looks like we're gonna be a good day on the road here. Okay, while we're charging in Blythe here, the charge station is in a Denny's parking lot, so we went to Denny's for breakfast. And I gotta say, I was very impressed. This Denny's was very good. If I was on a trip normally and I saw Denny's, I wouldn't stop there. Just as past experience is never that great. This was a very good Denny's, and the reason we stopped here was because the charger was in their parking lot. So restaurant owners, restaurant companies, keep that in mind. Okay, we made it to Mesa for the A's game at Hohokam Stadium here. It was interesting. When we left Blythe this morning, we thought we had plenty of juice to get here. However, when you get to Arizona, the speed limit changes from 70 to 75. We were going a lot faster, and we noticed all of a sudden the juice started dipping fairly fast, and we started thinking, gee, are we going to make it? We're going to have to charge. Once you get to near Phoenix, again, we slowed down, and we caught up with it, and got here fine. We're in good shape. We'll go charge now. So there's where it stands. Okay, here we are. It's day 6. Yesterday after the game, we charged in Scottsdale for a little while. And we drove up to see some friends in North Scottsdale, way up in the hills. So today will be the Brewers game in Maryvale, which is just west of Phoenix. about a 45-minute drive from where we are right now. So we're charging up here. We're going to try to get as big a charge as we can, as we'll be driving up to North Scottsdale again tonight after the game. And then we'll be leaving tomorrow to start the return portion of the trip. So we want to get as full a charge here as we can, so we don't have to spend too much time tomorrow morning charging. This charger I found using the ChargePoint app. For some reason it's priced a little lower than other ones around, which is good. Unfortunately, it's next to a business park here that's not very occupied today, and really nothing else around. So this will be a charge session of pretty much sitting in the car and waiting. So always nice when you can find something that's where you can stop and get something to eat or something to drink or something like that. But doesn't always work out. So here we'll just get a charge and take off from there. Here we are on day 7. Today we'll be starting a return portion of the trip. We'll be leaving Phoenix, and today's destination is Glendale, California. It's about 6 hours of driving, throw in charging, so that's going to extend it by a couple of hours. We're filling up here in Phoenix. It's Scottsdale, actually. Again, we found a charge point. This one is fairly low cost. So we'll fill up here, and then we'll be heading off, hitting Interstate 10 west. So it should be an interesting journey. Today will be a lot of driving, so actually the next 2 days will be a lot of driving. So we'll see how the car performs. Yesterday we saw a good Brewers game, although the Brewers lost. Had a nice evening out with friends. So it's been a very nice trip here, and nice to visit the Phoenix and Scottsdale area. Okay, we've made it to Palm Springs area, where we saw we're going to need a charge. Again, when you're driving over 65, speed limit was 70 on this section of I-10, electricity usage goes up quite a bit. So we ended up stopping before where we had planned. We just want to make sure played it safe. On a nice place to charge here. So while the car is charging, I'm having a nice Starbucks cold brew here. So nice when you can find a charging station that is near some convenience like that, where you can relax while the car is charging up. So we are charging now, probably be here about an hour today, and then we'll be heading in to the Glendale area of Los Angeles, where we'll be staying tonight and meeting with a friend tonight. We're running a little late on that meeting the friend. Got a later start than we expected, and charging is taking a little longer than expected too. So, but nonetheless, we're moving right along, and we will be there, and the journey continues. Okay, it's day 8, the final day of our journey. So we made it to Glendale late last night after charging several times along the way from Phoenix. Spent the night in Glendale here at a nice hotel, and this morning I brought the car over to a downtown shopping mall in Glendale where they have a number of EVgo chargers. I got to charge up to about 96%. Now I want to get started on our journey. We're going to stop and visit one friend before we go, and then we'll be on the road for the 400-mile journey home, and we'll see how that goes. So anyway, here's to day 8 and to a great trip. Okay, final round of the trip here. So we have about 400 miles to go today from Los Angeles to Oakland. I've brought up my Chevrolet again, give it one more try, and it has mapped out the road for me. We have 88% power right now, and it's telling us we can charge in Buttonwillow and then in Los Banos. So only 2 charges between here and Oakland, so we'll see how it works. Hopefully the My Chevrolet won't crash this time. Let's see what happens. Okay, we've deviated from the My Chevrolet plan a little bit due to one reason. Maureen wanted to make sure that we stopped for In-N-Out. So we found an In-N-Out that was a little closer than the planned stop, but there is a charger here. So we're ordering food and we will go charge shortly. The third one? Yes.
What's that?
Oh, I parked in the front here though, yeah. Well, here we are at our final road charge. We're 95 miles from home. We're down pretty low, so we stop here. We will not be giving it a full charge because we only have 95 miles to go. This is a momentous occasion. We'll be charging here, heading home, and completing our round trip from Oakland, California, Phoenix, Arizona, via Los Angeles. It's been quite a trip, and we'll look forward to summarizing it here when we get home. Well, after 8 days and over 1,700 miles, we're back home. In conclusion, I'd have to say the Bolt is a very good road trip car. It's powerful, responsive, and it's quite comfortable. Now, having said that, it's not for everyone. Over the 8 days of travel, we spent 11 hours charging. So that averages out to an hour and 20 minutes a day of charging on a road trip for us. So unless you have the patience to do that, it's something you may not want to embark on. However, overall, I think the Bolt is an excellent road trip car, and I certainly will do it again. Now, as with any experience in life, you're going to have some learnings. And these learnings I thought I'd share with you from our trip. First of all, make sure you plan your route. Each day you go out, at least have an idea of where you're going to stop and charge and how long you'll be charging at each stop. Also, have a backup plan. When you go out, you're going to find there are chargers that are listed but aren't working or are occupied. So you always want to be prepared to shift your priority. So that brings up another point. Be flexible. Be ready to make adjustments when you're out on a trip with an electrical vehicle. Another thing, when you're checking out chargers, in addition to the location, check out the pricing. Public charging, we relied on two sources here on the West Coast, EVgo and ChargePoint. Electrify America hasn't really made inroads yet here on the West Coast. We found ChargePoint was one of our lowest cost ones. However, it was also one of our highest cost ones. Very great variation in ChargePoint. EVgo was much more consistent in their pricing. I understand ChargePoint lets the property owner set the price when they make a contract with them. So there's a huge variation there. You want to check that out before you stop so you know what the cost will be. My Chevrolet app. Well, it's wonderful in theory. It's supposed to help guide you on the trip, showing you how long to stop and where to stop. Well, it's great in theory. It's not yet ready for prime time. The app crashed on us constantly, and we had to turn to our other apps, which means be ready to have other ones. We have EVgo, we have ChargePoint, we have a better route planner, and we have PlugShare. So load yourself up with apps that will take you to charging points and be ready to check different ones. I wish there was one source that would give you consistent and complete information. For example, it'd be nice to know what's around each one. Is there a restaurant there, or is another place where you can spend your time while you're charging, such as shopping or whatever? I found that some have some information, others have other information, but there's no one real consistent source to turn to there. So be prepared to have multiple apps on. The other thing we discovered was that speed is going to have a major impact on your mileage. Once you get over 60, and certainly over 65 miles per hour, your electricity is going to drain much faster. So be prepared for that, and if you do like to drive fast, be prepared to stop more frequently. Then, as any Bolt owner probably already knows, your heater is going to drain your battery. So if you're traveling in cold country, you're going to have a lot more stops for charging. Having said that, especially here on the West Coast, even on a cold day, with the Bolt's seat heaters and its heated steering wheel, we often find you don't have a real need to have the heater on, so that's one way around that. So there's a few learnings from our trip. Overall, like I said, it was a wonderful trip, and it's certainly something I will do again in our Chevy Bolt.